on, play with that.
Welcome to Lunenburg Time, and if you have questions, feel free to ask. If Jack can't answer them, I'll give it a shot. I'd love to show you guys the Bluenose, but she's gone for a walkabout. Otherwise, she's standing right there. If you want souvenirs or have questions, you can pop into the Bluenose II company store, the little subway over here. They have all kinds of souvenirs and all kinds of answers. And coming up here on the right is a memorial to the victims who were lost at sea. The outside pillars have the names of over 600 fishermen lost, and the center pillar has the names of over 100 ships lost. Gold-plated ships sailed out of Lunenburg. In the shape of the compass rose, the outer pillars have the settings to north, south, east, and west. It's a pretty interesting memorial if you want to have a look at it after. This red building is a warehouse owned by Adams and Conical. They're a scallop fishing company. The company was established in 1897 and is still in the same family today. The Maud Adams is the scallop dragger. She's out for 3 weeks at a time. Sails 300 kilometers northeast, fishes off Wilson Banks near Newfoundland. And we're headed for the longest street in town, guys, called Run Round. It's so long, if you find the door, let me know.
That looks good.
This is it.
Big takeaway.
Now in the 1920s and 30s, there was prohibition in the States. And being the friendly neighbors we are, we used to help smuggle rum up and down the coast. And when the ships were docked in the harbor, they were usually waiting for cover of darkness. Sneak the rum out of the basement of the Smuggler's Cove Inn and throw it on the boats and head south. Yep, being the quickest way from A to B, they called it Rum Row. And our former police chief was a rum runner. Well, when he became chief, they couldn't hide from him because he knew all their secrets. Most of the buildings built in the mid to late 1800s. The stuff like this one was built around 1790. Almost as old as I am. And on the poles, if you look as you go by, you'll see different fish and shellfish. If you go on a scavenger hunt, you'll find about 40 of them, all done by a local artist. The scallop shells are next to Adams' store where they sell fresh and frozen salt.
Oh, look at the
Those are
sailboat.
replicas to those that sail around here as well. Then we have the mystery building. No one seems to know what they're doing with it, so it's a big mystery. Look there!
I'm not sure they lost it now.
Oh, the lobster there, Michelle. Michelle.
Stop for a coffee break.
That's all the way.
Oh. Right.
And this one. I got the world's largest doggy bag.
The horseman.
Never seen one that big, did you?
No, because you have to keep the streets clean.
Yep. Who's that?
Hey. No, she's still doing it. Because it was a Goliath version of a donkey.
It's from the oven.
It's sick.
What
Your wife is sick.
did she say now?
I said fresh from the oven.
Oh,
Don't lose your phone.
you have to make
Now when you get off, don't forget your souvenirs.
That's really fun.
And if you rhyme me, we'll get pictures of you guys on here after. My memory's not that good. This Lunenburg house was built in 1825. It stands remarkably straight for her age, being built on a side hill. And the glass in the windows would be the original one glass.
Oh boy, it's really cold in the winter, right?
And this one we call the his and her house. Wife wanted wood, husband wanted vinyl, so they compromised.
Oh my god.
The only constructible pine in the old town, built in 1827.
Wow. What's one? That's they're renovating.
And down here in the distance to the right is our shipyard. Over 300 ships have been built there in the last 270 years. And some of them included the original Bluenose in 1921. Now the Bluenose II was the only ship to be built inside, and that was in the big red building with the windows in the roof. And that was in 1963. The Bounty for the movie Mutiny on the Bounty was also built in 63 here.
Oh.
And she starred as the Black Pearl in Pirates of the Caribbean movies as well. And today's Bluenose is a complete rebuild of Bluenose II. And she was built somewhere handy 15 years ago here in the harbor. Across the street, who's that? He knows too many words. Across the street is Thomas Walton's blacksmith shop. 3 generations of the Walton family outfitted boats in the harbor with iron from here. And some took 7 to 9 ton of iron to outfit. It was sold a few years back and we opened it as a distillery. We called it Ironworks after the blacksmithing. They had a copper wood-fired still in the back corner they used to make their product, right on the site. The rum, vodka, the purest brandy and gin. Then they have 3 chapels, so you can stagger in, or walk in and stagger out.
That's nice.
Yeah, this is nice.
The little girl, well, she's too old for that.
Good calm her down though.
Neither worry, you not so tight. Vinyl siding is no longer allowed, but was very outboard siding is preferred here now. The blue house across the street was built in the late 1870s. Owned by a captain, and apparently his brother liked it so much he built this in next door.
Right.
I'm not sure about you folks, but I couldn't live that close to my sister. What are you guys? Welcome to Lunenburg. Any bags in the back?
Thornhill.
Thornhill near Toronto.
Oh, I'm glad everybody had a good walk to get here.
Yeah. Good too.
We hope you have a wonderful vacation.
Thank you.
Why was Lunenburg settled in the first place?
Well, the King of England, who was actually German, decided that he was going to inhabit this part of the land, Nova Scotia, and he sent the German army here in 1753 to settle. And when they got here, they already had the plans and stuff all made out as to how they were laying the town out. So when they got here, they discovered that it was all hills. They made the town. Pardon me?
They didn't adapt the plans to the...
No, they just laid it out the way they had the plans drawn up.
Nice.
And it was just basically inhabited because the King of England wanted more settlements.
Okay. But he didn't decide to make... He decided on it becoming a shipbuilding center of this part of Canada. It's just sort of commerce.
It sort of happened.
Okay.
Because most of the people that came with them were farmers and not shipbuilders or fishermen. So they had to learn those crafts in order to survive. So that's a short history on how we came to be.
What was the King of England? Do you remember his name?
King George of Lunenburg.
So that's why it's called Lunenburg.
He was named for the king. Now hiding here in the trees, we have the Boscawen Inn. It was built in 1888 and was a present to a young couple on their wedding day from the bride's father.
Wow.
Unfortunately, the husband was a gambler and lost their home a few years later due to gambling debts. After the father-in-law got done chasing him, the wife caught up with him and sentenced him to 50 years of dishes.
Is that all?
Actually, he was never seen again, and the wife was so heartbroken she never remarried and still visits her home on a regular basis. And that is Lord Boscawen on the photo. The last pillar here has a UNESCO Heritage mark on it, and we were designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1995. We are honored to be the first town in North America to become a UNESCO site.
Wow.
Not bad for a little town of 2,200.
Oh my God. This? I feel like it's bigger than that.
Now the purple house has a bump on the roof that is actually a double roof dormer. But some of them here in town are unique, so we call them all Lunenburg bumps. And that one has an extra special meaning because it can see the harbor and the wife can sit in the window and watch for the boats to come in. So it's also called Widow's Watch. And up here on the roof is a playpen.
Oh God.
The widow's walk or captain's walk.
Captain's walk,
And if you put a slide up there, she can have fun for weeks. The wife can see the front harbor and the back harbor from that one. And when the boats came in, she had plenty of time to go downstairs, put on a nice dress, and ship the kids to grandma. no stained glass windows in this house, and it was owned by a ship's captain who was a very wealthy man at the time. Unfortunately, he was lost at sea. The cobbler shop owned by Benjamin Canal and Benjamin's lovely home. I guess making shoes was a profitable job in the early days.
Everyone needed them.
Well, now Jack just goes to Walmart.
Exactly.
He has a bit of trouble finding the right size. And the stained glass windows came from England in the molasses barrel. No bubble wrap.
Oh no, right.
So when the barrels got here, we had beautiful windows and molasses to bake cookies with rum. And if the kids were lucky, they had a licking contest. That was a sticky situation. And the little brown house was built around 1790. The new piece here was added 100 years later, and they still call it the new piece today, too. And the little brown door is the coal door. They used to use the coal, so they kept it in the cellar.
Right.
And this house is remarkably unchanged inside. And we found Tim Hortons. There was a little coffee shop. Give you a little, give you some leg room for a minute.
Very interesting.
Now there are 5 churches here in the old town. There used to be 6, but the Baptists got crowded and moved out, I guess. So they're now over in Newtown. But the first church you see is St. Norbert's Roman Catholic Church here on your right. Not only is it the smallest, it was built in 1840. Not even the newest. Oh. And behind the blue house is another black and white church. That one is St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church. The congregation formed 1753 when Lunenburg was founded. And the church itself was built handy 1770. It is home to the oldest Presbyterian congregation in Canada. And it has a rather unique weather vane on the steeple, so after I fill Jack's coffee pot, we'll go find it.
It's good to give them a break, eh?
Don't judge.
Oh.
What are you doing?
Pulling them down.
Them off because it's quite hot. Does Jack like his bath?
Yeah.
He's pulling them off. He's getting a bath tonight. He's getting a bit of a shower, that's all.
What's the Guess what? I'm back. We got some pieces. Pieces in here. Don't go on that sidewalk. There's no room for it. Huh? All right, Jack of all trades. He drowns the beeper when he has a drink.
See what?
He drowns the beeper.
Yeah.
week you'll have a clear review. It also happens to be a 6-foot codfish. Holy mackerel. And you're probably wondering why they put a cod on the steeple.
Yeah.
Just for the halibut. Cod we trap.
You're always incredible.
And this used to be the mercantile. They sold furniture and dry goods. The couple there also had 12 children. All girls.
Oh.
That was a holy cod moment.
Well, all girls.
You want to quickly glance up?
Yeah.
Oh, big fish.
Hardly true.
Ooh.
There's lots more fish jokes I could ring off, but you guys would jump and run. Across the street's the William Ross House, built in 1820. He was also a merchant, and merchants were among the wealthy, along with the captains and admirals. And he has a beautiful stained glass window around his door. Those decorations above the windows and above the door and throughout town are called gingerbread. They're all fantastic. And no two carpenters there.
Oh, look at that.
So like your signature, you can tell who built the house, put a gingerbread on it. A lot of work was into carving them all by hand.
Yeah.
Must have been a winter project. The little blue house here on your left has a rather interesting little window, and it was built in 1810 for John Lennon. Broken rubber putting it in. This is the Lennox Inn, built in 1791 as a tavern, opened as the Lennox Inn in 1804. It happens to be the oldest wooden structure still in use in Canada today. Original inside and out. The Zion Lutheran Church founded in 1772. But this is actually the third church to stand here because the congregation has grew the previous two.
Wow.
This one will date to about 1890 and is home to the oldest Lutheran congregation in Canada as well. So this little house here had a hidden stairwell in it. When they redone the house, they accidentally found it. No one was sure where the staircase led to, except possibly the neighbor's quarters. Don't need to say anymore.
Look at the penguin.
Across the street, we have that favorite spot in town, the dead center. He keeps telling me that they're dying to get in. But they're so lazy, they're just lying around. This is the oldest part of the Hillcrest Cemetery. Some of these stones were dated to the mid-1700s. So dead even the tree died.
Wow.
This part is closed, but they still use down under the hill. Jack told me this morning, the other day when he was up here, he heard them coughing.
Coffin.
Sort of like coffin crisp. Coffin red.
Yeah.
And then we have the Lunenburg Academy. Built here on Gallows Hill in 1895, cost roughly $30,000 to build at the time. Don't think you can near a painter for $30,000.
Nope.
Originally a primary to 12 public school,
Wow.
stayed primary to 5 till about 10 years ago. Now it's a private music school for students and teachers around the world by invitation only. The public library joined them a couple of years ago as well, and a few other programs like the walking program also operate over here. Besides being a UNESCO Post site. It's a National Historic Site. Canada Post has a stamp with the Academy on it. And because it's National Parks Canada helps with the upkeep on the building. As a school, years ago, the girls went on one side and boys on the other. Heaven forbid they ever got together.
Uh-huh. Does it, they give tours of it?
I don't think so.
No, okay, not that inside.
Beautiful.
Only to go into the library.
Okay.
This we call the wedding cake house for obvious reasons. All kinds of layers and pink frosting. Those are triple roof dormers on each side and a double roof on the true widow's watch. Built 1885 for Ellen Morash, who was a politician. Okay, Jim and I don't know who they are. So we'll find it. Yeah. His name is Jim, and I'm trying to remember the cat. This little house is arguably the oldest house in town. They didn't keep records of documents, so they weren't exactly sure when it was built, but they think it was here in 1740.
Wow.
Excuse the view. The Seelig House across the street, built in 1825, is one of the few homes remaining in the same family. And this one goes back 7 generations.
Wow.
Sure hope they got the mortgage paid. Hi guys.
Hello. Whatever you do, don't walk up. You got seagulls here.
The steeple on the church is the highest point on land here in town. And they tell me that coming into the harbor, that's the first thing you see on land. I'll never know because I get seasick watching the bomb in the house. Have you guys ever heard of the Coffin window?
No.
Well, you're lucky. The big window there next to the add-on in the corner is called a coffin window. In the early days, they didn't have funeral homes or funeral parlors, so they presented the coffins in their own homes.
Oh.
So they built a special window extra big so they could slide the coffins in and out. And because they were superstitious people, they made the front of the house and the back of the house similar, or quite similar. So apparently the devil or spirits wouldn't follow the coffins in. They'd get confused and not know how to get in. So, coffin windows and superstitions. Yep. And that
The devil
is,
doesn't have GPS.
this house was built in 1775. And if you look at the boards, you can tell they're pretty old. And most of these homes have original stuff in them today.
We're not allowed to change the windows, is that true?
You can change the windows, but they have to be the same style and size. This lovely hall was built in 1775. It was Lunenburg's courthouse until 1902. At that time, the people from St. John's Church bought it for $100 in the town.
Huh?
Almost hit bankrupt, coming up with $100 to buy it. And across the street there's St. John's Anglican Church. We'll talk more about her in a second. I got a lovely lawn ornament to show you first. What do you think of that, guys?
Wow.
What is that one
That
up
one
here?
up there.
I could tell you it came from the Halifax explosion and you'd know no difference, but it didn't. the old days, moving coal and dry goods in the winter became interesting. And one winter in particular, quite icy here on the hill, and every time they made the turn, the sleds would slide and hit this poor man's house. Well, he sure got frustrated fixing corner boards that winter, so when spring came, he went to the waterfront and got this cannon. Brought it all the way up here and dug himself a hole and buried it 6 feet down, wheels and all.
Oh my goodness.
Lock, stock, and barrel. Took care of the corner board issue. The only thing we break's the odd wagon wheel. Now up on the roof we have 4 little windows. Way up there is the site of the very, very first indoor bathroom in Lunenburg. Stuck it up there so they'd have a bird's eye view of town from the throne. But in all truth, they had water barrels on the roof to catch the rainwater, and that was how they flushed the roof.
Is it a crapper?
Oh,
It was a John Crapper?
yeah. Had a good downhill run, too.
Yep.
St. John's Anglican Church, they first worshipped on the grounds in 1753. They started building the church in 1754. This is the second oldest Anglican church in Canada, the oldest is St. Paul's in Halifax. The bell tower has 10 bells that chime, and they can play happy birthday to the little ones. And the gentleman that rings them does it all by hand with levers, like on a keyboard. And he's done it for about 40 odd years. The guy who did the corn did it for about 60.
How often do they ring on the hour?
No, they used to ring periodically throughout the summers, but where they're renovating this year, I haven't heard them at all.
Okay.
The poor guy who rang the bells before did it for 60 years.
Whoa.
But you know what? They call him the dead ringer. Jokes are sliding faster than that. Alright, turkey dog. So the orange and black lamps down the street here are replicas to the old oil lamps. Now the police chief or sheriff would make them at night and put them out in the morning. Well, when they were burned on Sundays, we knew the chief was recovering for Thursday night. Didn't too long at the tavern, did it? And their peach orange-colored house was where the police chief lived. He wasn't very well paid or very wealthy because there were no stained glass windows or gingerbread in his house. And it was built in 1858. Right across the street, the town hall and courthouse. There are some bars on the windows when it was also used as a jail. It was built 1891 and these are still the original bricks. They were just refaced a couple of times. And when the chief overstepped, he made it to work all the time in his slippers. Memorial to the soldiers of World War I and II. And the bandstand is a replica in the 1800s. And the church in the background is the United Church, dates 1883. And Mr. Wolf's house was built in 1880 for Augustus Wolf. He was elected the first mayor of Lunenburg in 1888. Well, they still tell us that Mr. Wolf likes to answer the phones here every once in a while. Do you see the fishies on the wall? Aren't they funny fish? Huh?
What do you see there, Kai?
Are they eating cake? No. No? I think the scuba diver's going in for a slice.
Oh yeah, they're eating cake, Tyler.
Very good.
Bye, fishies.
Bye.
Lincoln Street happens to be a shopping center.
Bakery.
Not much of the center, but it's still a shopping zone.
Look at these on there. Oh, look at those ones.
American King built 1830 for Dr. Charles Bowman, one of the few doctors who lived in the town. He has a beautiful butterfly stained glass window.
Yeah, butterfly.
So I guess Bank of Canal on your left was built in 1907. All those stones were hand chiseled. It took one man to make that stone. Wages were about $1 a day at the time.
Whoa.
And we have lots of beautiful colors here. Most small fishing villages have colorful homes. And one of the reasons for it is when the captains ordered paint for the boats, they got a little extra, so they'd have leftovers to paint their homes. Used it as a tax write-off. And when they staggered home nights, they didn't have much trouble finding the right house. Heaven forbid they woke up in the wrong bed the next morning.
Oh.
But here in town, we call it UNESCO Fresco. And the line up is segments, only nice calorie-free Tuesday.
We'll make ice cream.
And 17th century subway next door. The corner had a hotel, 1790. The corner finished in 1863. Owned by George Gilbert, a Douglas merchant. And across the door here is the number 9 cafe. It's a last beautiful stained glass. He gets in a zone and then he doesn't finish. Whoa, camel. We have the Bluenose golf course. Sometimes you think they're having golf cart races over there. And the local deer like to come out and putter around as well.
Put it around. I get it. I love it.
Then if you drove around to the golf course, you have a beautiful view of the old town. It's the old ski hills, all 5 churches, and the beautiful colors.
Yeah.
But I do recommend you take an extra pair of shoes if you go over.
Oh, yeah.
You might get a hole in one. Good thing I didn't quit my day job.
You're always
Try the wheel.
Back in the old days, lobster was considered poor man's food.
yeah.
It was so plentiful that it washed up on the shores. And people gathered it, and what they didn't want to do is they put on their land to fertilize crops. And if you sent the kids off to school with lobster for lunch, they were made fun of and picked on because they were so poor. All they had was lobster. The rich kids, on the other hand, put bologna and peanut butter on store-bought bread. Now we can have it for lobster, bologna, peanut butter, or loaf bread.
Good time. Very good. Very good.
Coming up over here is the kitchen step restaurant. The former Lunenburg jail. The inmates didn't mind looking out over the water, but they didn't care for the food. They were fed lobster 3 times a day, 7 days a week. And they complained so often the mayor come down and passed the new bill saying they could only have lobster 3 times a week. Poor fellas. Well, they named these new bills the lobster killers. What happened to these guys?
They're in jail. They did something that they shouldn't have been doing, honey.
Now we have the Lunenburg speed bump.
Uh-oh.
The Fisheries Museum is just fun for 2 hours. All kinds of exhibits. And the Fish Factory restaurant is also good for a few hours. If you like food, they've got lots of it. Yeah. Let's try that speed bump on the other side.
Ready for the bump bump?
Oh.
Doing good because it is
So
something
we
they
sure
shouldn't have
do
been
hope
doing.
you enjoyed the ride with Jack and I.
Thank you.
We wish you all a safe, wonderful journey and a safe trip home.
You get it, that one.
Okay.
Thank you.
Here you go.